Chairman of the Board of MHA of New York City. Please welcome Kevin Danehy. Kevin.
Thank you, Bill. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being here. I've got to say, those are really tough acts to follow, so I'm going to be very brief. But first of all, some thank yous. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. We all have so many great causes that we can otherwise be pulled to, and so we are very, very appreciative of the generosity of your time and your presence here, as well as for the financial support that so many of you have provided. So first of all, I'd just like to thank everyone who's here tonight. Next, please join me in extending a special thank you to DJ for explaining so much better than I ever could have about why the work we do at the MHA is something that makes such a difference. So DJ, thank you very much. One more round of applause. Good. And then finally, in the way of thanks, I'd like to thank Giselle and her dedicated and unbelievably talented staff for making possible every single day transformations like we just heard from DJ. So Giselle and team, thank you very much. Okay, and so consistent with our theme tonight, please let me begin by saying that I too, like most of us here in the room, am a face of mental health. I've seen far too many lives altered for the worst by challenging mental health disorders that we know are treatable. Fortunately, in the balance, I've seen the positive differences that sound treatment makes. Here's a story that happened yesterday of how this all plays out. Kim Williams, the MHA's Senior Vice President for Policy and Programs, who, by the way, was recognized earlier this year as one of New York's top 40 under 40 in the social services sector. Kim? Where's Kim? Thanks, Kim. They were interviewed Sunday morning at 11 o'clock by Bill Ritter, right, on ABC's Channel 7, along with Sarah Bondershoff. Yesterday, one of our 800 LifeNet operators, Nita Ahmed, shared a note about a call she just received. So I'm going to quote, "Hello, I just had a caller who mentioned she saw us on Channel 7 and thought she might have depression. She is 70 and has never gotten mental health help. And she said we motivated her to talk to someone for the first time. Exclamation point. Best, Nita." Thanks. Just because I know we want to get to dinner, I'm going to ask you to hold the applause because I know there's lots of things to applaud about here. But that's how it happens. One person, one conversation, one step at a time. So you think about it. This 70-year-old woman believes she suffers from depression, but has never asked for help in her entire life. The sad news is she is in deep enough despair that she felt compelled to turn for help to one of the MHA's 19 hotlines, our 1-800-LifeNet. The good news is she heard from Kim and Bill and Sarah when they talked about the fact that help is available, and she made the call. So this story underscores a problem that we have. For too many years, the model in our country has been to focus care on our physical health. So many incredible people are or have been victims of this outdated, unbalanced approach, sidelined by very treatable disorders that tragically go unaddressed. We need to invest as much on keeping our brains and minds healthy as we spend on the rest of our bodies. Fortunately, the MHA has been pioneering this work for over 50 years. During the last decade, we have grown beyond New York City and into a national leader serving America's mental health needs throughout the country, with nearly 300 staff, running over $30 million worth of programs annually, We do our best to bring mental wellness to well over 1 million people across the United States every year. Having said this, we can do more, but for our good works to continue to grow, we need your help. So please look at the screens around you. See the challenges to mental health that surround us every day. Take a moment and consider how many of these issues have touched your life, the lives of our nation's military and their families, of your colleagues, your friends, and your loved ones. The MHA is making a difference, building a world where people with these diagnoses can get the help they need to lead full, happy lives. So on each of your tables is a stack of donation envelopes. We're asking you to be as generous as possible to make a gift that will help ensure that the individuals and families struggling to make it through the day with the problems like these get better and easier access to help they need. The young people coming around to your tables now are MHA staff and volunteers. Please feel free to hand your envelopes to them. All right, don't disappoint me. Don't leave me hanging. There's somebody walking around, right? There you go. Okay, so in closing, we all know people who have faced one kind of illness or another. We've seen what happens when they don't get the help they need. We've also seen what happens when they do. Making that difference is what the MHA is all about. With your help, Giselle and her team can do even more great work to rid the scourge of mental illness from millions of people's lives and to welcome each of these people helped back to the world of mental health. So thank you again for being with us tonight. Thanks for your support. Please enjoy your dinner. We'll be back after the meal with a special tribute to our honorees, so thank you.